I've always been raised in a Christian household. My parents are like really, really strong Christians. They're on fire for God. So from a young age, I knew like who God was. I just didn't really have a personal relationship with him. When I turned 15, I started to kind of just figure out for myself who God really was, started to have a relationship with him, and started coming here to the Vineyard, and people were calling me like a Jesus freak and stuff like that, which I don't mind that title. That's a title I'll take any day. And I've been like homeschooled my entire life, and my parents kind of kept me sheltered. They didn't want me to kind of go out and get involved with the wrong crowd. When I hit 16, they kind of decided, like, you know what, you're older, you can kind of go to school yourself and figure out what's out there. So I went to high school, I'm freshman year, and kind of got involved with like bad crowds. I was like younger, started hanging out with seniors and started hanging out with like party people and started just going down the really wrong path. Started drinking, started smoking, started having sex, like just went wild. And this is at 16. And take note, while I'm doing all this, I'm still going to the Vineyard. I'm still going to church. People started noticing that I was like changing. They're like, I don't see God's light on you anymore. You're really changing. My flesh just got like totally irritated by it. I'm like, no, you don't know who I am. Blah blah blah. People change. I was like in church, like people tell me that I'm dark, and I'm like cursing them out, like I don't want to hear. So like after like coming here for like 4 months being in darkness, I'm like, church isn't for me. I just disappeared. Started going deeper, started getting in trouble with my parents, started running away from home, just totally, the devil just had his hands on me. I was just going crazy. And through like all of that, I went really deep. Like I always heard like God's voice in like the back of my head. And like, it wasn't like my voice. I literally could hear his voice and like, you're wrong. You're wrong, you gotta stop, you gotta come back. And I'm like, no, I'm having too much fun. I'm 17 at the time, I'm living in the moment, I don't wanna do anything else. A lot of the people that I was hanging out with, a few of them went to prison, a few of them OD'd on drugs, and as I was getting closer to 18, I'm like, this path doesn't look as appealing as I thought it was. And so my dad, he told me, he's like, if you sin habitually and you don't feel conviction, then God's not in your life. And I just had a total flashback. Kind of thought back to when I was 15, going to church camp and being in front of the praise and worship groups, just going on fire for God. I'm like, you sin every day. I know I'm not supposed to, but my heart doesn't feel heavy, but I do it like it's nothing, like it's second nature to me. So I just started praying, and I'm like, God, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I don't feel bad. And does that mean I'm not in your life? Or does that mean you're not in my life? And I just kind of noticed he just started kind of calling me to come closer to him. But I was being rebellious and not really listening. I'm like, no, I'm still having fun. And it kind of went on for like 4 months of me hearing God telling me to come on and me not really paying attention. And it all, like the last straw, I got kicked out when I turned 18. Like I was like going really hard on my parents, and I was like, I'm grown, like I can't live here under your guys' rules, I'm gone. And I had this dream one night, and this dream was like totally supernatural. Like no one could take it away from me. But so I'm in the dream. I'm downstairs in my basement at my parents' house, and I'm with a bunch of my friends. We're all like kicking it, we're drinking, we're smoking. In the dream, I heard like this loud horn. And the dream, I was the only one that could hear this horn. And at the same time, I knew that horn, for some reason, in the dream, that horn meant that it was the end of the world. So I go upstairs, I run outside. And I look outside and I hear a horn. I go outside in my front yard and the clouds are like spinning like a whirlpool. Like, you pull like the plug out of the tub and the water starts spinning. So it starts spinning in the dream, like my heart's pumping fast. And I'm like, the world's over, I gotta go get my family. So I run back inside, I go back downstairs to get my brothers and my friends. And when I go back in the house, everybody's gone. And they were just there like 15 seconds ago. So I start panicking. I'm looking through the house trying to find my family and nothing's there. So I run back outside, and I heard this really deep voice say, it's too late. I just got sucked up into the clouds. And just as I got sucked up, I woke up, I need to go home. So that night, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I didn't know if my dad was asleep or what. I'm like, you got to get out of here. Because my brother, he was like selling drugs. So it was like a really bad environment. So you got to go home now. So I text my dad, and I'm like, I said, I've got some stuff I need to tell you. I need to come home. And he's like, well, the door's always been open. So I went home, and when I first started walking with God, it kind of started off as being afraid. It wasn't really much of a relationship with Him. I started off doing what I was doing because I'm like, if I don't stop doing A, B, C, and D, I'm going to be judged, so I got to stop now. And as like a few months went by and my reasons started changing, like God started just taking like things away from me, bad habits that He didn't want on me, just started working His hand in my life. And then a year went by and I'm like, I just started to grow a relationship with God. I'm like, first God, I was like afraid of you. I thought that like if I didn't do what I was supposed to do, you would just come down like with the iron fist. I had this idea of like you being like this big ogre. But He doesn't want me to have that idea of Him. And I just started thinking of Him as a father and as my protector and as my guider. And I just started looking back. I'm like, you brought me a long way. So now my reasons for walking with Him have like totally changed. It's not just, I'm afraid. It's like, I don't see how I ever lived my life without you. I mean, I'm at peace. I don't have to turn over my corner and worry what's going on. I mean, I'm like, it's a wonderful feeling to wake up and know that God's got your back. When you wake up and you're on your own and you don't have God, you're just like, what's going to become of me? But when He's in your corner, there's nothing that you can't do. So here it is. I've been walking with Him for two years solid now. I've kind of been backsliding, but 2 years solid now I've been walking with God, and I don't see myself being with anyone else in any other relationship. So I'm interested and I'm excited to see where He takes me.